And we are live. Welcome back for another stream. I hope you're all well. Big stream prepared today. I've never done a 90-minute stream, but we are giving it a go today for this deadline stream. So thank you so much for being here for this deadline stream on this Friday evening. How's everyone doing today? Appreciate you all being here. We've got 699 tuned in already. Unbelievable turnout. I think there's a lot of free hit gang in the chat. If you're on a free hit, let us know. I'm unfortunately not on a free hit, but since I wildcarded last game week, I decided it's probably better if I try and prepare my team for this blank game week and then save the free hit for a later game week. So as a result, this is how I'm lining up, and the plan is to roll the transfer. So remind me if I forget, I need to tweet my team before the deadline while we're on the stream. Otherwise I get complaints for not posting my team, so that's something I always need to remember to do on these streams. Objectives Matt says free hit gang. Quite a lot of free hits in the chat. Sujan's on a free hit. Mikey's on a free hit. So's Sam. So's Praken. There's another Oscar in the chat who says no free hit needed, lads. Yeah, I mean, that's my plan. I'm not going to free hit. I've got 9 playing, which isn't great, and I'm expecting a red arrow, but I'll have the free hit and the triple captain in the pocket, so the hope is that I'll make those points up later on with those chips in the pocket. Perhaps I'll still go Salah triple captain, but in double Gameweek 29 instead. Mr. Gamer's not on a free hit. Chris is. Look, I think this is going to be probably the busiest game week of the season for free hits. It seems like a great game week for it if your team needs it, because you can jump on City players, you can jump on the Spurs double up, Son and Kane. You can hop on players like Ronaldo and Bruno, who don't have doubles in 28 and 29. So there's lots of players you can hop onto and then hop back off. So yeah, If anyone missed it, I did actually post a free hit draft early this week, so you've got loads of time to watch that. But appreciate everyone tuning in. We're now on 1,100 watching. Appreciate you all being here. Do like the stream if you do enjoy it. I know it's early. Maybe watch a bit of the stream first, decide if you like it, and then hit like if you do enjoy it. Blues FPL says, hopefully we get early team news for Southampton. Yeah, throughout the stream, I'll keep an eye out for any early news or leaks. So if we get anything, I'll certainly let you know. Loads prepared for this stream. We've got the news roundup, we've got the scout selection, kings of the game week, the most transferred players, bookies odds, predicted points, the captain poll results. We'll talk about the double game weeks and loads more. YouTuber says, big love from Croatia. What's your opinion on my free hit team? He's got Pope, Cancel and me, Telles, Son, Elanga, Sterling, Mahrez, Kane, Weghorst, captain, Brozier. Interesting one, Elanga. I actually think Elanga starts. And I think he's a reasonable punt, but it does mean you're going without Bruno and Ronaldo in your case, which is a little bit risky, but you've got good players to make up for it. Telles as well is an interesting one. If we knew that he starts, I think he's a great option. So I don't know what your bench is, but all I would say is I would have at least 2 starters that you can rely on the bench, just in case Telles doesn't play, or just in case Pep Roulette punishes those jumping on the City assets. You never know with Pep, he could randomly bench Sterling, Mahrez, but I think if I was on a free hit, I would have them both. But it's really hard to predict. I think KDB and Foden are great options as well. So it's a very strong draft. I can't really suggest any improvements. All I can suggest is to have some good options on your bench just in case you need them. So Dylan asks, do you think Livramento starts? I think this is a good opportunity to jump into the news roundup because it is something I wanted to cover in this news roundup. So the Jota update is that he is... I'm trying to remember what the update was now. I think the update was that Jota's on his way back. Not spotted in training yet, but he has a chance of making the Carabao Cup final. So one to keep an eye on because Jota could be back for potentially Gameweek 28. But I think at this point most of us have hopped off Jota, those of us that did own him. Some Watford news. Josh King has also been in training. Obviously he went off injured in the double game week. Absolute troll, Josh King. But he is back in training, so could start this game week. But I think if you don't own a player like Brozier or Weghorst, I think it's very reasonable to hop off King to one of those two. Some West Ham news. West Ham can confirm that Soufal has had successful surgery on a groin injury. So the reason I wanted to mention this one is because if you're on a free hit, I would imagine that Johnson starts for West Ham for only 4 mil in defence. So he could be a great enabler if you're on a free hit and looking for a cheap player to have on your bench. Amati is also an option if you're playing 3 at the back. You could have Amati and Johnson on your bench. 3.8 mil and 4 mil, absolute bargains. And talking about Livramento, Perraud is back in contention after missing the Everton win because of COVID. The reason I wanted to include this is because as a result of him missing the last one, it meant Walker-Peters and Livramento started. So, what do you guys think? Does Livramento keep his spot, or does Perraud come back into the starting 11 and left back and Walker-Peters and right back? I think for this reason, if I was on a free hit, I would be tempted to avoid Livramento for that reason. Unless you've got a player you're happy to have off your bench. But, you know, you never know if Livramento's benched and comes on late in the game, as we've seen him do this season since returning from injury. So something to be mindful of. Perhaps you could go for someone like Bednarek or Walker-Peters. It's a shame when politics and football overlap, but it does happen. And obviously it's awful what's going on in Ukraine. In West Ham's case, they said Yarmolenko has been given some time off. He's not in a good place at the moment. But in Man City's case, Zinchenko is ready for the Everton game, so in contention for starting. Whether he does or not, we'll see. Could be Cancelo and Walker, but Zinchenko is in contention for the game. I think I missed a donation there. Apologies. Let me scroll back up. Where did we get to? It was YouTuber says my bench is Maguire, Ward, Prowse, and Walker-Peters. Yeah, perfect. I think I would have Ward-Prowse ahead of Maguire. Maybe even Maguire last on bench, but your bench is great, so I think your draft looks great. Mini Jinx says, have you ever really loved a woman? I have, yeah. I've been in love. Not in love now. It's single. I'm a single guy just with my dog on my lap. How depressing is that? Jack Maloney says, keep Ronaldo. I think I would keep Ronaldo. It's a great game against Watford. Cavani is out, so I think Ronaldo is probably going to start again for that reason. So I think if I had Ronaldo, I'd keep him for that reason. Nicholas says, 3 Burnley players and Rafinha. Is it safe? Are you talking about my team? I think you have to triple up on Burnley if you're not free hitting. You might get by with 2, perhaps if you've got Weghorst captain. Rafinha is a worry, but he does have the double in 28 as well. And then, of course, he's got Norwich in 29. So it felt like I could justify avoiding the free hit, and I'll stand to make more in the later game week. Because realistically, if I wasn't free hitting, if I was going to free hit now, then it wouldn't have affected my team much last game week, if that makes sense. So really, all I would have gained was 2 players by free hitting, and maybe I'd swap Rafinha out and a couple of other players. So I think I can gain more from free hitting in a later game week. Maybe game week 30, or maybe in like game week 36 or something like that. Dehortim says, wildcard 28, so he's transferring out Tierney. Would you do De Gea to Pope, Tierney to me, or Tierney and Duffy to me and Peters? I don't think I'd go for Peters. I don't know if Taylor is back or not. Taylor's normally first choice left back, but he has been out injured for a bit. Let's see what the Burnley latest is. The 22nd of Feb, 75% chance. A couple of days ago, or yesterday, Dyche says Charlie will be back in and around the squad. So I think I wouldn't go for Peters for that reason. I shouldn't have talked about love. What's going on in the chat now? Gizza says woman raid. We've got women in the chat, have we? YouTube gives you analytics, and you can actually look at things like the what countries people are from, like age ranges and that sort of thing. And gender as well, and it says something like 95% of my subscribers are males. So shout out to any women in the chat. So your question was, would you do De Gea to Pope, Tierney to me, or Tierney and Duffy to me and Peters? I would avoid Peters. De Gea to Pope I like. I think you could also make the case for doing a -4 Tierney to me if you're not already tripled up. I think that's what I would do. De Gea to Pope I like that, and I think I'd also do Tierney to me if it gets you an 11 out. Obviously, De Gea does have a game, but it's a single. Tierney blanks. I think I would do the -4, to be honest with you. Double up on the doublers. I think you can justify it. Right, quick look at the scout selection for Gameweek 27, which is as follows. They've gone for Pope captain. I'll just read it out for any audio listeners. In defence, the back 3 is Laporte, Shaw, Bednarek. The midfield 4 is De Bruyne, Fernandes, Mahrez, Bowen, and then up top, Kane, Weghorst, vice-captain, and Brozier. What do we think of the team? I'm absolutely roasting, so Teddy, you're going to have to go down there, mate. No. He's not happy. I don't know if you can hear it on the mic. Teddy, I'm too hot. I'm sweating. Go over there. Alright, he's gone. He might be back later. It's a long deadline stream. Yeah, Pope's an interesting one. We'll have a look at the predicted points later. And Pope is up there, but it is Weghorst who's top on the predicted points. So it's an interesting one to see Pope captain on the scout selection. I don't blame them for going for Bednarek, to be honest with you. I think you could make the case for Walker Peters as well. Shaw's an interesting one. Does Tellez start or does Shaw keep playing? We'll see. Bowen's also interesting. Really disappointing in last game week. Bowen, the 1-pointer. That one really hurt, I have to say. I don't know if you guys saw my Game Week 26 points, but I left 50 points on my bench. Absolutely brutal, that one. But yeah, it was the wrong call. I ended up benching Weghorst for Bowen. He was the only one I was considering starting. And obviously Weghorst had a pretty good double game week. And Bowen got the 1-pointer. They were about even on predicted points, Weghorst and Bowen. My thinking was just, you know, if I'm getting rid of Cancelo on the wildcard and I also get rid of Bowen or bench him, then it could be really bad if they both haul. But as it happened, they both blanked. Rowan says, hey Oscar, how goes it? Very well. Just pouring some Pepsi Max to see me through this deadline stream. Don't know if you can hear it. ASMR stream. Afid, thanks for the donation. He says, let's blank 3 players and free hit in Game Week 28 or free hit in Game Week 27. It depends on the rest of your team, to be honest with you. If you're covering the key players, like Weghorst, we'll have a look at the captain poll results later. I imagine he's going to be heavily captained. If you're covering the key players, like Son, Weghorst, maybe Kane or Bruno, then I think you can get away with it. But it also depends on how many free hits you've got left. If you've got 2, I think it's easier to justify using it now. Whereas if you've just got the 1 left, it's a bit more of a decision. In my case, I've got 9 playing, and I'm not going to use the free hit. I'm saving it. So, yeah, it depends on the rest of your team and if you've got those key assets covered. Damien has donated, and his donation message is Damien1234567889. Thank you, Damien, for that. Appreciate that. I do agree. Ishman says Bednarek or Livramento. I think I would go Bednarek, just because of Perraud being back in training. Is it Perraud or Perraud? I don't know. He's Southampton's left back, Walker Peters right back, but last game he was out with COVID, which was why Livramento started. Livramento did do well, got an assist, they kept the clean sheet, 12 points there for Livra. It's just whether he keeps his spot or not. Difficult to say. So if you want to err on the side of caution, then I would say Bednarek. Right, let's have a look at the Kings of the Game Week, which are as follows. It was boring. Mo Salah, who joined the Kings of the Game Week in Game Week 26 with his 28-pointer. So he's joined the Kings twice now, as has Bruno, as has James and Cancelo. So, who do we think is going to be the king of Game Week 27? If anyone's not get their guesses in yet on our Discord, we've got a dedicated channel where you get one guess, and you can't guess a player who's been guessed already. So if you haven't got your guess in yet, then make sure you do that. I'll chuck a link to the Discord in the chat for anyone that wants to join and get their guesses in. Johnny says, hey Oscar, Saka to Ward-Prowse for the next 2 weeks. Yeah, I like it. Ward-Prowse, I think, is a great pick for this game week. And I'm trying to remember if they've got the double in 28 or 29, but they've certainly got the double. It is. They've got the double in 28 as well. So I think that's a very decent move. You may want to have Saka as well, though, because Saka, of course, doubles in 29. I was hoping that we'd get some news today on an Arsenal double game week 28. There was rumours that Arsenal and Chelsea might double in 28 because it's a postponement and it could slot into game week 28. It could have also been Chelsea versus Leicester, but Leicester progressed in the Europa Conference League, which means it can't be Leicester anymore. AB reckons it's Son that joins the Kings. Stipe says definitely Elanga. Me reckons Ward-Prowse or me to join the Kings. FPL Cal says Sterling or Bruno on a free hit. I think I would go Sterling, just about. Not much in it though. If I was on a free hit, I would have both of them, to be honest with you. Rahul Dino says, take out Watkins or King for Brozier. I think I would get rid of King between the two. King reportedly back in training, but whether he starts or not, I don't know. Obviously went off injured last game, so I think King. And obviously Watford play Man United away, which is a tough fixture. Oh, Callan says I missed a super chat. Apologies. Let me scroll back up, see if I can find it. Ask it again, Callan. I'll keep an eye out for your message. Sorry if I missed that. I'll keep my eyes peeled on the chat. Send your message again. Keep the questions coming. I'll do my best to answer them all throughout this stream. Danny says, is this your final team? This is my final team. Roll on the transfer, and hopefully I'll be able to use those transfers to some benefit in double game week 28. I think what I might do, if Arsenal don't double, is I could go Bowen to Coutinho, because Bowen has Liverpool away. And Aston Villa have a decent looking double game week, so I think that's what I would do. Trying to spot Callan's message. I don't see it. Sorry I missed that. Brian says, one free hit left. I have 10 with Edouard and Elise. Do I free hit right now? Again, it's very team dependent. It depends if you've got the key players covered, like Weghorst, Heung-min Son, maybe Cancelo. If you've got some of the key players covered, then I think you can get away with it, because you've got, you know, the players that everyone's going to have on a free hit covered, and therefore you're not too exposed, if that makes sense. I am expecting a red arrow, but hopefully not a significant one. Did I miss yours as well, Rohan? Sorry, mate. Ask it again, I'll keep an eye out. Oh, no, there it is. Can't fit Bruno in, opting for Sancho. So toss up between me, Tarkowski, Forster, me, Tarkowski, Forster, or me, Liver, and Pope. What's your take? I would go for the first one, me, Tarkowski, and Forster. So Callan's question was, who should be my captain? He's got Ronaldo, Bowen, Brozier, Cancelo, or Gallagher. I think this is a good opportunity to look at the predicted points for Gameweek 26, which are as follows. Out of all the players you own there, Ronaldo is highest on the predicted points, so I think I would go for Ronaldo. I don't know if you've got Son or Kane. I'd be very tempted by Son if I had him over Ronaldo. But I think I would go for Ronaldo between all of those. Cancelo is the only other one I'd consider, but if I had to choose between those 5, it would be Ronaldo. Right then, guesses in the chat. Who is the most transferred in player heading into Gameweek 27? Guesses in the chat if you know who it is. Looking for the most transferred in player. Tango says Mopai or Brozier. Brozier definitely. Oliver says Sarr or Sanchez. Sarr. Wolves have a very good double in 28 against Crystal Palace and Watford at home, so I would go for them. Sujan says Ronaldo bench time. As far as I'm aware, Cavani's not back in training yet, so I think Ronaldo is looking likely for another start. A lot of guesses for Weghorst in the chat. You are absolutely correct. Over 500,000 have brought in Weghorst heading into this blank and double game week 27. Blank for more teams than double, just barely double, of course. Son is second. He has been brought in by 264,000 managers. Me by 262,000. Ward-Prowse and Brozier up there. Salah's been brought in by 176,000 managers. What's that about? Salah obviously blank in this game week, so I'm not sure what that's all about. Obviously he did very well in the double game week, but no fixture for Salah this game week, but he does appear on the most transferred in. Let's have a look at the most transferred out. It is Diogo Jota who is the most sold. Over 500,000 have got rid of him. But Salah appears here as well. He was on the most transferred in, but he's also on the most transferred out. 260,000 have sold Salah as it stands right now. I'm sure that will continue to go up as we approach the deadline over the next hour or so. Saka's there, St. Maximin, Trent. It's really a shame that St. Maximin has this injury because Newcastle have the back-to-back doubles. He might be back in time for it, but it's annoying to have him now and he's not playing. But definitely one to keep an eye on if he is back for Newcastle's back-to-back doubles, because they absolutely need him, and he surely starts with. I mean, he's probably their best player. Zayab says Forster and Tarkowski or Pope and Kyle Walker-Peters. I think I would go Pope and Walker-Peters between the two. Not much in it, to be honest, but I think I'd go for Walker-Peters because he's got a bit more attacking threat than Tarkowski does. And really, there's not much between the two keepers. Panicota says, I will wildcard in Game Week 28. And I have a starting 11 this week, but one of those starting is Douglas Luiz. Is it worth taking a -4 to swap him out for Son or Bruno? Yeah, definitely. If you can get to Son or Bruno by selling Douglas Luiz, I would. I think that's a very fair decision. I don't know. I mean, Douglas Luiz, his ceiling's probably 2 points, isn't it, this game week? I say that he'll probably go and score or something. He'll do a Brownhill, right? Brownhill was in the Kings of the game week, one of the top scorers of Game Week 26, but no, I think that's a very justified -4 to take. I think I will go for Son between the two. Rory says, thoughts on Willock? Willock's not one I've honestly looked at much at all. I know he went on that crazy run last season where he scored for about 6 or 7 games in a row. but I don't think Willock's worth looking at right now unless he shows similar form. How much is Willock at the moment? Actually, not sure how much he's been priced at this season. I imagine whatever he started at, he's dropped down a fair bit since then. But no, I don't think Willock's one to consider really. Can we even trust him to get consistent starts? So he's got a goal and an assist in his last two. Before that, he was barely getting starts. It's a huge punt. I think there's better picks really in that price range. I think I'd rather look at someone like Ward-Prowse, Rafinha, Saka after this blank. Reece says KDB or Sterling. I think I'd go for KDB if you can afford him, but I think Sterling's a very good pick as well. It's really hard to predict the Man City starters this week, but later on we will have a look at the predicted Man City starting 11. Quick look at the clean sheet odds for Gameweek 27, which are as follows. Man United top, 51.5% chance. I think you can justify having one Man United defender on a free hit draft, but certainly not two. Man City second, 49.5% chance. Southampton and Crystal Palace tied. Burnley's odds are aggregated, so they've got a 41% chance across their two games. Rock bottom's Everton, who host Man City this game week, followed by Watford, who of course play Man United away, and Norwich. Wuchi, thanks for the donation. No message with that, but appreciate that. Thanks, Wuchi. Thank you as always. Mohammed says, hi Oscar, would you play Ward-Prowse and bench Brozier? I think I would, honestly. There's not much to separate the two of them. I've got that Norwich fixture at home, but I think Ward-Prowse just about edges it for me. But I do really like the Brozier pick as well. Anirad says, Adams or Brozier? Adams looks in good form. He does. I think I would go for Brozier between the two, but there's really nothing between them. I think they're both excellent picks. But longer term, I like Brozier. I'd only consider Adams on a free hit. Brozier, I think, is the much better pick longer term. Did get a price rise last night, but he's only 5.5 mil, which is very cheap. Good enabler for the remainder of the season, to be honest with you. 6 goals and 2 assists. I mean, that's about all you can ask for a forward at that price. So I think he's a great option. Rayan says me or Tarkowski. Honestly, there's absolutely nothing to separate the two of them. Me normally gets a couple of goals a season. Tarkowski's got it in him as well. You know, it's just whoever the set pieces land on. Me obviously did extremely well last game. 21 points he got. Kept the 2 clean sheets and he scored against Tottenham, which was the winner. Got the 3 bonus, so it was a 21 pointer from me. I'll certainly take that again if he can put up another 21 pointer. Antasia says, are you planning to use your final free hit in Game Week 30? It really depends on how the fixtures fall in Game Week 30. We're waiting for the FA Cup results before we know who blanks in Game Week 30. But this is a graphic from Ben Crellin, and these are the Game Week 30 fixtures, and the teams here will blank if they progress in the FA Cup. So what he's done here is he's used the bookies odds to project the likelihood of these fixtures blanking in Game Week 30. So if Man City beat Peterborough, which there's a 93% or so chance of happening, then both they and Brighton will blank. So there's a very high chance of a significant number of blanks, and in fact there could be as few as 3 fixtures that go ahead in Game Week 30. So it could be a free hit opportunity, but it is too early to say right now whether I'd use the free hit there or not. It depends how my team shapes up. I do already have some players that play in 30. I'm tripled up on Arsenal. I've got Rafinha from Leeds. I'm doubled up on Wolves. So I do have some players already that blank. That play, sorry. And then Burnley and Southampton is the fixture that's likeliest to go ahead. It's a blank only if Southampton beat West Ham. Otherwise, Burnley will play in 30, as will Southampton. So I'm tripled up on Burnley. I've got Brozier. So I do have players that play in 30. So I'll basically will wait to see how the state of play looks after those FA Cup games have been played. Those FA Cup games kick off, I think it is next midweek, so starting on the 1st of March, and I think the last Premier League team plays on the 3rd of March. and then we'll know what's going to happen in Gameweek 30. Hope that helps. Josh says Laporte over Cancelo for the free hit. I mean, Cancelo's the highest ceiling player, so if you're on a free hit, you surely want to go for the highest ceiling players, right? You'd imagine they're about on par in terms of the likelihood of starting, so therefore if you can afford Cancelo, I would go for him. I'm absolutely dreading not having Cancelo, I have to say. A bit nervous for this game week. I'm hoping I can just about scrape through without using the free hit. Hopefully the red arrow is not too big, but it almost certainly will be a red arrow. It'd be a nice surprise if it's not, but it really depends on how players like Cancelo do. Perhaps Kane, perhaps Bruno, those sort of players that I don't have that will be in a lot of drafts. But I'm tripled up on Burnley, which I think a lot of free hit drafts will have, and I think a lot of free hit drafts will have Son, Broja, so we'll see. Rumours Laporte benched. Interesting, I haven't seen anything. I'll keep an eye out for leaks. Let's have a look. I do have a graphic here, let me try and find it. It was the Man City predicted lineup. I wanted to shout out her Twitter handle because I forgot what it was. I don't remember what her Twitter handle is. It's like Ride the Wave or something. That's really bad. I've got this graphic from her and I can't remember her username. But basically what she does is she pulls the predictions off the Man City forums and the likelihood of those players starting to give a kind of a reasonable picture of which Man City players will start. And she's got Rodri and KDB as 100%. Sterling and Mahrez also looking very likely. So I think now if I was free hitting, I would have two of Sterling, Mahrez and KDB. Foden, based on these predictions, looks like an avoid on the free hit now. They've got Laporte as a 50%. Interesting. Cancelo's 96%. There was only one who predicted that Cancelo doesn't start. So hopefully that's helpful. But if anyone remembers her username, let me know in the chat. Jump the Wave, that's it. Thanks, Adrian. She jumped the wave on Twitter. That's her handle. Reminder to get your votes in on the captain poll. We'll have a look at the results of that in a little bit and see who everyone's voted for this game week. If anyone's not in the Discord, the link's in the description. Take a photo and tag me on Twitter wherever you're watching from. I'll love to see where people are watching the stream from around the world. So tag me in a photo and I'll retweet it. Amir says Che Adams or Broja. I think I'll go Broja, but again they look about on par to me. I think I'll go Broja. Steve says will Reguilon start? Tottenham are in horrendous situation. Conte's comments sounded like he'd almost given up. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games that they should have won, games that were in hand. And Reguilon did miss a couple of games. Obviously, he had COVID, so evidently they've not done particularly well when he's been out. And I would guess Reguilon does return to the starting 11. He was on the bench last game, so it's not like he's unable to play completely because he's got COVID, so I reckon he does start. Vendetta says, AM from Jamaica. Shout out to Jamaica. Where's everyone watching from? What country is everyone from? Andrea says, would you get rid of Cornet? Let's see what the latest is on Cornet. I actually didn't see whether Dyche actually commented on Cornet's fitness or not. I heard it was a mild injury. So yesterday he said, foot injury, touch and go. See how he is tomorrow. It's not really a serious one, but a bit sore still. 50% chance. I wouldn't get rid of him if I had him. Simon's watching from Norway. India, Malaysia, Ghana, Norway, Serbia, Singapore, Greece, Angola, USA, Iceland, Kenya, Florida, Iraq, Morocco, Nepal, USA, Uganda, South Africa, Ecuador, Bangladesh, Ireland, England, Ukraine, Ghana, Canada, Luxembourg, incredible, absolutely global. Nepal, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Macedonia, Mauritius. It's 12:30 in the morning in Indonesia, says Mr. Samuel. Shout out to anyone tuning in as late as you are. Appreciate that. Any Aussies in the chat? New Zealand. Must be late there as well. I think I missed a message there from Move with Mike. He says, bring a Veghorst for King or Edouard. I think I would go for King between the two. Thailand, Japan, Trinidad, Carlisle, Ethiopia, Algeria. Sam says the exotic island of the UK. Trinidad and Tobago, Nigeria, Ethiopia. Amazing. Joey says, Tierney to Livramento. Do you think he gets his place back? Tierney has Liverpool in the double. Liverpool fixtures look good and only have 9 players this week. I'm a bit worried about Livramento's likelihood of starting because Perro is Southampton's left back and he was starting and Walker Peters was playing right back. And he missed the last game with COVID, which meant both Walker Peters and Livramento started. So since he's back, does Livramento keep his spot or not? I don't know if it's worth risking a transfer run, if I'm totally honest. I'm not even sure if it's worth risking him on a free hit. I think a player like Bednarek or Walker Peters might make more sense. So I would look at them over Livramento personally. It feels a bit like an avoidable risk to go for Livramento. Russell says, hi Focal, UK. Oh, I've lost it. All I saw was UK lol. Let me try and find it again. Russell says, hi Focal, UK. A KDB Sancho or B Sterling Bruno. Oh, I see. KDB Sancho or Sterling and Bruno. I would go Sterling and Bruno, definitely. Yeah, 100%. I know Sancho's been doing well, but I think there's not much between Sterling and KDB, but I think Bruno's a better pick than Sancho, so that's what I would do. Lendo says it's 4:30 in the morning in Australia. Unbelievable. I didn't realise it was so late. Appreciate you tuning in at this late hour. Zelda says the luxurious county of Hertfordshire. I'm in Hertfordshire as well. Good to see someone else from Hertfordshire tuning in. Thank you everyone that has tuned in so far. If you are enjoying the stream, do hit like on it. We've got 354 likes. Let's try and get it to 500 on this stream. Do hit like if you are enjoying it. Helps the channel massively. And if anyone's interested in becoming an fplfocal member, there's a link in the description, which includes early access to my videos. And there's a private channel on the Discord where I'm online every day giving team feedback. 2 AM in Singapore. Shout out to Joanne watching from San Francisco. 3 AM in Japan. Right, so if you're not a member of the fplfocal Discord, I'll chuck a link in the chat because we're going to have a look at the Captain Poll results now. If you haven't got your votes in yet, make sure you do that. Link to the Discord in the description. Yeah, if you're not a member of the Discord, genuinely good FPL resource. We've got the price changes, we've got the lineups, we've got the live scores, we've got the live points, we've got the bonus points, we've got Gameweek stats, we've got injury updates, top 10k stats, insider trading. Loads of good channels here, and you can pick which alerts you want to receive on your phone. So for example, if you wanted the price changes, you just hit that and you get the price changes every night. But we're here to have a look at the Captain Pro results, so let's have a look. They are as follows. I've done my vote already. I went for Veghorst and he is first. 468 votes for Veghorst. Second is Human Son with 92 votes. 50 votes for other. If anyone went for other, let me know in the chat who you went for. 22 votes for Kane. I actually quite like the Kane pick. 11 for Mahrez. 7 for KDB. I missed out Pope there. He's got 18 votes. Interesting to see Pope there. We were looking at the predicted points earlier. And Pope was actually second on the predicted points. So not the worst pick. And we've seen Burnley improve defensively recently, keeping lots of clean sheets. So I don't hate the Pope pick at all. Nicholas says, looking to buy a nailed Wolves defender, Kilman or Saiz. I like Saiz more. He's got that attacking threat. He's got a goal in him, so I like the size pick more personally. I am the lemon says Ward-Prowse a good shout. Definitely, he's a good shout. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I should add a exclamation mark Discord link. I'll chuck it in the chat one more time if you want to join it. There it is. Shrewd says, Oscar, who would you get on a free hit? Liver or Walker Peters? Walker Peters. Jonathan says, I feel like no one's talking about Bruno. Yeah, I agree. I think he's flying under the radar a bit. I said last game week that although I was getting rid of him on the wildcard, I feel like he would do very well against Leeds. And he did. And it wouldn't surprise me again if he does well in this game against Watford this game week. Watford really in a terrible position. It looks like they're on their way down unless they can do a Burnley and turn it round. But I think they're in 19th. And the teams above them have games in hand as well. So it's a pretty desperate situation. Amir says he's gone for Ericsson on a free hit. Wow, Ericsson on a free hit. I haven't seen any drafts with Ericsson. Fair play. Chris says, hey Oscar bruv, I have Eric Peters at the moment, slightly nervy if he's nailed. Who do you think is nailed for Southampton and Burnley defenders? Yeah, I think he's a little bit risky. If you wanted to go for the fullback, then I would go for Roberts, who plays the opposite side. Taylor, I don't know if he starts the first game, but perhaps there's a chance he plays in the second of Burnley's double, so I would probably avoid Peters for that reason. If you want a nailed Southampton and Burnley defender, then from Southampton, I think Benderek, Walker Peters, good shouts. From Burnley, Tarkowski and me really are the nailed ones. Roberts probably as well, but they do have Lowton who can play in right back. So those would be my picks. Steven says, oh, I've lost it. Steven says, free hit advice, please. This is a 3-4-3 with no bench and no extra cash. He's gone Pope, me, Laporte, Salisu, Son, Sterling, Mahrez, Fernandez, Kane, Weghorst, and Broja. So the first thing I have to say is you need a bench. You absolutely need a bench. It'd be a complete waste of the chip if you've got players like Sterling and Mahrez, who it's not out of the question for Pep to bench them, and then you have no bench. Right, so you need to have players on your bench that will play. I think you could go for someone like Johnson from West Ham. I imagine he plays because Soufal's out. You could play someone like a Marty last on your bench as a last case resort. But the rest of the draft, it looks very good. Salisu, interesting one. I've not really looked at him, to be honest with you. I think Walker Peters is the one I'd go for in the Southampton defence. Benderek as well, good option. The rest looks very strong. The rest I really can't fault. It's pretty much the same remainder of the team that I would pick. Pope, me, makes perfect sense. Weghorst makes sense. You've got Kane and Son. You've managed to squeeze in Sterling, Mahrez and Fernandez. But you do need to try and find some bench players. And I imagine you can afford to get Johnson and Amati because they're basically, you know, base price players, if that makes sense. It doesn't get much cheaper than them. I hope that helps. Joey says, worth bringing Benderek in for Tierney. I only have 9 starters and I'm 1,100 overall. Unbelievable rank, Joey. I'm near Watford, yeah. I'm actually going to Watford versus Arsenal in a couple of weeks. Because I'm an Arsenal fan, but Watford are kind of like my local team, if that makes sense. So when they play each other, I always try to go. But if I was going to be getting rid of Tierney, I don't know if you're tripled up on Burnley or not, but I think I'd rather sell Tierney for a Burnley player because they've got the double. But I think I would get rid of him for Bednarek personally. I think I would go for a player of more upside, one of the Burnley defenders. You know, they've got 2 games to keep a clean sheet, whereas Bednarek's only got tonight. And I know it's against Norwich, but these teams that are still fighting for their life can cause upsets, as we've seen. You know, look at Burnley. They looked in a dire situation and they've turned it around and pulling off upsets like beating Tottenham. So I think the Southampton defenders are a good pick, but it's not out of the question for them to pull an upset. So if I was going to bring in a defender, I would go for a Burnley defender just because they've got the 2 fixtures. Mikael says Bruno to Son to fund King to Weghorst for 11, playing a -4. Bruno to Son to fund King to Weghorst. Yeah, I don't mind that. I think Bruno, there's a chance he punishes that move, but it does let you bring in Weghorst. So I like that. And I imagine you're going to go for Son or Weghorst captain as well. So you're bringing in a captain. So I think that's a justified -4. True Fandela says Lamptey and Edouard for Peters and Che Adams from -4. I've already got Broja. Tell me it's not a good idea. So Lamptey and Edouard for Peters and Che Adams. I don't think it's a good idea, if I'm honest. I don't think I would be bringing in... I mean, the only time I would consider a move like that is if you were going to wildcard in Gameweek 28, because you can kind of dead-end your team and then wildcard straight out of it. But I don't like the Peters pick. If I was going to get Burnley defender, it would be Roberts or me or Tarkowski. I think I would avoid Peters personally. And I would avoid Che Adams unless you were going to wildcard in Gameweek 28, in which case you can get him straight back out, because I'm not sure about his prospects long term. I think Broja's the better pick between the two. Frees up a lot of funds. The skip says, guys referring to you as bruv in the super chat is funny. Oh, thanks, bruv. Moyet says, should I get KDB or Sterling or Mahrez or Foden? Between all of those, I think now I would go for Sterling and Mahrez. So, sorry, do you have to pick between one of them? KDB or Sterling? If I had to pick one of them, I think it would be Mahrez. But there's really not much to separate them. It's Pep Roulette. We had to look at that graphic earlier on the predicted lineup. And Mahrez was predicted to start, if that's anything to go by. So I think Mahrez. The Roshkin, thanks for the donation as well. Donate $1, no message, but I appreciate that. Thank you, mate. Where did I get to? Got to Mr. Pease, who said he's not on a free hit. He has Corney as part of a Burnley triple up. Thinking of moving him on for Willock, Ramsey, or a good suggestion. Thoughts, love the content. Thank you, appreciate that. If I had Corney, I'd be tempted to keep him, to be honest with you. Dyche didn't rule him out of starting this one, so I think I would be very tempted to just keep Corney if I had him at this point. If you see what I mean. You know, he could even play the first of the double. I imagine likely to play the second, so I don't know if I would honestly get rid of Cornet. You know, he's got a double game week. I know he has that injury, but Dyche said he's touch and go and didn't rule him out of starting the next match. So I think it's risky to drop a player with a double game week, if that makes sense. And Willock and Ramsey, you know, very, very sideways moves if you ask me. So I think I would keep Cornet, to be honest with you. Ari says Foden and Fernandes or Sterling and Sancho for a free hit this game week. I would go... I'm not so sure about Foden now. If you can afford it, I think Mahrez and Fernandes would be the two I would go for there. I'm not so sure on Foden anymore. The Man City predictions seem to have Mahrez starting and Foden not. I'll just put it up on screen again if anyone is looking at Man City players. This is from Jump the Wave on Twitter. She gets the guesses off the Man City forums and then kind of compiles it together for the likelihood of the players starting. And she's got Mahrez on a 96% chance. Only one person didn't have him starting. Foden's 59% chance. So I think that's what I would do there. Sorry if I'm missing any messages. Bear with me. Where did I get to? I got to IE, I think. Foden and Fernandes or Sterling and Sancho. Oh, no, I did that. Losing my mind here. Zayab says, on a free hit, how important is a bench? Plus Benderek versus Walker-Peters. I think I'd go Walker-Peters between the two. And how important is a bench? Very. It doesn't have to be an expensive bench, but it needs to be a playing bench. You know, don't get someone like Tsimikas just because they're the cheapest. You need to have these backup players, particularly when you're tripled up in Man City. It goes without saying that Pep's got it in him to bench players when you least expect it. You know, perhaps out of nowhere he benches Cancelo, despite all these predictions having Cancelo starting. So definitely you need to have a good bench. I think Johnson for 4 mil, West Ham. I imagine he starts with Soufal out injured. There's other players like a Marty could start for about 3.8. Maybe like Williams from Norwich. Those sort of players. Ramsey from Aston Villa, 4.8 or 4.9 mil. But you need to have a bench, definitely. You'll kick yourself if you waste a bench after a player doesn't play and you have no bench, if that makes sense. Bailey says, hi Oscar, my squad looks like this. David De Gea, Cancelo, Saiss Davies, Bruno Bowen, Rafinha Ramsey, Blank, Weghorst, Broja. On the bench he's got Salah, Trent, Ramsdale, Richardson. Roll or use a free transfer. Who's the blank though? Richards. Is that Richardson? Which one's he? Is that the Burnley striker? For like 4.5 mil. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 starting. It depends how much you've got in the bank. If you can move Richardson to a playing striker, then I would do that. Otherwise, I think you're fine to roll, to be honest with you. My gut feel is the transfer rolled would be more valuable to you heading into the double game week 28 and 29. You know, this is only a double for Burnley, so we don't want to go all in on Burnley. And then, you know, we don't have spare transfers that could be more valuable. In my case, I'm rolling the transfer, and I've got 9 starting, you've got 10. So I'm hoping to use the transfers more effectively in double game week 28. And I think you'll find when we get to 28 that you'll be able to spend the transfer better then rather than now, if that makes sense. FPL Sam says, me and Livramento or Robertson, Walker-Peters. I would go Robertson, Walker-Peters. Livramento, it's hard to say if he keeps his spot or not. Perro's back from COVID and he's their left back, so it could be him and left back, Walker-Peters right back. Or perhaps he puts Walker-Peters and left back again and Livramento right back. Hard to say. But Walker-Peters has been playing exceptional in right back, which is also Livra's spot. Doesn't play as well in left back, so yeah, it's just something to be conscious of. I think I would avoid Livra personally. Chris says, Oscar bruv, Roberts T, me, Tarkowski, which one? It's between me and Tarkowski. I think I'd go for me. I like the Roberts pick as well, but I don't know a significant amount about Burnley, but I wonder whether Lowton gets a game here or there. You know, he's been a great servant to Burnley. Roberts has come in and done well, but with all these games coming thick and fast, back-to-back doubles for Burnley, does Lowton get a game at some point, or can Roberts continue to play all of these games? Thank you to It's Mr. Mays for becoming an fplfocal fan. Appreciate that. If anyone's interested in becoming a member, I've just noticed I need to update the emojis. I knew there'd be somewhere I forget to update it. fplfocal members get early access to my videos, and there's a private channel on the Discord where I'm online every day answering your team questions and giving feedback and whatnot. So there's only one tier and you get all of the features. So if you'd like to support the channel further, that's one way you can do it. Links are in the description. Yeah, it's been an exciting week. Obviously I updated the logo this week. What do you guys think of the new logo? I wanted to update it forever and finally got round to it this week after playing around with about 100 different designs. Thanks to all the feedback from the members as well in landing on the right one. True Fandela says Saka and Edouard for Ramsey and Jimenez -4. I've got 10 starters, but Edouard is a lottery. Saka and Edouard for Ramsey and Jimenez. Do you plan to wildcard in 28, Fandela? The thing about Saka is you get rid of him and then you want him back in really. He's got Watford, and then he's got a double game week, Leicester and Liverpool, and then he's got Aston Villa, Palace. They don't blank in game week 30, so I think Saka's one that you might want straight back in. That's the problem. I don't hate the moves though. Ramsey, I like him. He's a good pick. Doesn't blank in 30. Likewise Jimenez. Ramsey and Jimenez both have the double in 28, so I think you can justify that move, especially because Edouard seems to have just lost his spot. Parky says, thinking of taking a -4 to bring in a Burnley defender. Currently have 10 players playing. Caveat is, I would have to transfer out Ben White. Thoughts, alternative ideas? -4 to bring in a Burnley defender. Currently have 10 playing. If you don't have any Burnley defenders, then I think you can justify it, because a lot of people are going to have at least one. In my case, I've got 2, so I think you can justify it. Not ideal to be selling Ben White. I don't know who your other defenders are though. You know, if you've got another player who's easy to sell, then I would do that. If not, yeah, I think you can justify dropping Ben White because he's got Burnley have the double. Elliot says he's got 10 players, none doubling and 1 free transfer this week. Is it worth using a free hit in Game Week 30 and 33 with a wildcard somewhere in between? 10 players, none doubling and 1 free transfer. I think if you've got no Burnley players and 1 free transfer, you could justify using one now. It depends on the rest of your team, so it's hard to say, but I think you could free hit. Triple up on Burnley, hop on some players that you might want, that you don't own, like you might not have Son or Kane. You might want to triple up on Man City, for example. So if you've got 2 free hits, I think this is a very reasonable game week to use one now, especially if you've got no Burnley players and you're down to 10 and you've got 1 free transfer. So I would be tempted to use one now, to be honest with you. And then in terms of the other free hit, it's hard to say because we don't know what Game Week 30 is going to look like. So we'll know after, well, from about a week today, we'll know what Game Week 30 looks like, and it'll be easy to say then. Yeah, it depends if you can arrive to Game Week 30 with players who don't blank, or whether you're looking likely to get to Game Week 30 and not having any players or enough players that play. You know, if you're down to like 6 playing in Game Week 30, then you could use the second in Game Week 30. Or you could wildcard in the double in 29 and pick a team that also can get you through Game Week 30. There's a few ways to play it, but it's hard to answer right now because we don't know exactly how it's going to shape up. Right, let's pause for a minute, take a deep breath, and we'll play a round of Who's That Player. If anyone's not played before, I'm going to show you a graphic of a player and then guesses in the chat if you know who it is. Who is that player? Lookman says Captain Son or Veghorst. I've got both of them. I'm personally going for Veghorst, but I think they're both very good captain picks. Go over your gut on that one. Matt says it's Coutinho. Adam says, why me over other Burnley defenders? There was nothing in it really. I just wanted to pick a reliable Burnley defender on my wildcard last week. Adam, how you doing, mate? Didn't know you were here. He says Jota. A couple of Coutinho guesses. Satri says Ronaldo. Elias says Dallas. Jimenez, John Barnes. FPL Sam says Jimenez. You were bang on. It was Jimenez. Alright, on to the next one. Who's that player? Was there a question about Reguilon? I did have a question earlier on Reguilon. If I was to guess, I think he starts this game. He was on the bench last one after recovering from COVID, and of course they lost with Sessignon playing left wing back, so I would imagine that Reguilon starts this one. Pappy says, is that you, Oscar? It's not me. Guesses in the chat, who's that player? King Panda says Hendo. Man says Cancelo. Ryan says Dinia. Chat's moving too fast, I can't even spot the names. Andy says me. Mikey says... oh, it's gone. Didn't see who that was. Was it Ben Me? Chan says Reguilon. Chris says Hart. The answer was Ben Me. Surely Ben Me's good for another 21 points of this game week, right? Surely. Alright, a couple more. Guesses in the chat. Who's that player? A-Hawk says, free at draft, prioritise Cancelo or Bruno. Can do either, but Bruno draft has a weaker bench. I think you want to have a Man City defender, so if you end up getting Laporte instead or something like that, I think I would prioritise Bruno on a free hit. Even if it means a weaker bench, I would still go for Bruno, prioritise him. Beldes says De Bruyne. Razzo says Varane. Luke says Cancelo. Tango says the hair gives it away. It is the hair. Or is it though? Not many people have got this one. Christian got it. Cambing's got it. XIX got it. Alan got it. The answer was Sarr. I have to say Wolves defenders and Sarr look like excellent picks for game week 28, particularly because they have that double game week at home. Last one, guesses in the chat. Who's that player? Evans says it's Weghorst. Nuno says Weghorst. Arky says Weghorst. Sean says he has a beard, so Weghorst. Amit says start 2, Benderek, Walker Peters, 8 Nori. I'd probably start 8 Nori and Walker Peters. The answer was Weghorst. Well done if you got it. So yeah, this is how I'm lining up. I wildcarded back in Gameweek 26. I've only got one free hit left, so I was in a bit of a difficult position. But it made sense to me to engineer my team towards this blank game week rather than use up the free hit. So I'm going to keep the free hit in the back pocket, and obviously I've got the triple captain in the pocket as well, because I didn't use it on Salah, which hurt my rank badly. But yeah, hopefully I'll have a better opportunity to free hit, and I do have 9 playing this game week, plus I've got the triple Burnley, so it's not too bad. Rashad says, Focal, odds on Pogba as an option. It might be an option, but he's very punty. If I was going to get a Man United mid, it would be Bruno or probably Elanga. I don't know about Pogba personally. Keep your guesses coming. We've got to keep your guesses. Keep your questions coming. We've got half an hour till the deadline. Riffan says, Son or Mahrez? Son. Harry says start Livramento or Dallo. Mohammed says sell Semedo for Roberts. Let me see what the latest is on Semedo. I'd be very tempted to make that move. It looked like a hamstring injury last night. Hamstring strain, no return date. Currently being assessed. Yeah, I would sell Semedo for a Burnley defender. Roberts, or maybe if you want to go a little bit safer, me or Tarkowski. Ad says, would you have used the free hit this game week if you had to? Yeah, definitely. I would have done. One Beanie says, Brozier hasn't played the last couple of games. Will he play? He's played the last couple. Do you mean he hasn't scored the last couple? He started every game since Game Week 21. He was benched in 20 against Tottenham. But before that, he had another 4 starts in a row. So he's a pretty safe pick, I'd say, Brozier. I'll say that now. We'll get Armstrong starting tonight or something. But no, I think he's a fairly safe pick. Chris says chicken or fish? Chicken. Pepsi or Coke? Freddie says Son or Cristiano Ronaldo? Son. Let's see if we've got any early news or leaks or anything of the sort just yet. Is Twitter down? Hey? Oh. That was weird. I got an error message there. Doesn't look like it. I'll keep an eye in case we get any last minute news. Yashlin says Pepsi. Correct answer. Alexa says Sancho or Fernandez. Kinsha says Ward-Prowse or Adams. I think Ward-Prowse. But they're both good picks. But I think Ward-Prowse. Anthony says free hit team must-haves. Must-have. Triple up on Burnley. So I think Pope, me, Weghorst. Son, I would say is must-have. Triple up on City's must-have. Maybe Cancelo in defence and then 2 mids. There's no must-have City mids, but you do have to triple up on City. Maybe Mahrez and Sterling. I think... Who else? Kane, if you can afford him. I think he's a very good pick. Leeds continue to leak goals. They haven't kept a clean sheet since Game Week 14. Sean Diesel says, like the stream, guys. If you are enjoying the stream so far, please do hit like on it. It massively supports the channel. Really appreciated. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I normally post 3 or 4 videos every game week, so loads of content on this channel. It's Mr. May says, is KDB worth it over Sterling? Would you have Foden and Bruno or Sancho and KDB? I would have Bruno and probably Mahrez. I'm less confident about Foden now based on the predictions I've seen on their starting 11. Of course it is a prediction, so it could be totally wrong, but I'm less bullish on Foden now. I'd be more inclined to go Mahrez and Bruno if I was doubling up like that. Ben says McNeil or get Brownhill for a 1 week punt before the wild card. If it's a 1 week punt, McNeil definitely. He's the attacking player. Doesn't get many attacking returns, but it'd have to be McNeil. Tim says Coke. Surely not. Surely Pepsi Max. Surely. Luke says Weghorst or Kane captain. So Weghorst is top on the predicted points, but they're all good picks to be honest with you. I think Son you can make a case for, Kane you can make a case for, even Pope. These are the predicted points for this game week from FPL Review. And they do have Weghorst as top with 8.6 predicted points. So the algorithm favours Weghorst the most in terms of predicted points. But as I said earlier, Leeds are continuing to lead goals. They've got key players missing, so I think Kane's a very good captain pick as well, as is Son. But I'm personally going for Weghorst. And then of course after this blank game week is over, we do have the double game weeks. And there's a double in 28 and 29. Game week 28 is Aston Villa, Leeds, Newcastle, Southampton, Watford and Wolves who double. And then in Game Week 29, Arsenal, Brighton, Everton, Liverpool, Newcastle and Spurs double. So I think there's quite a few ways you can tackle these doubles. You could free hit in Game Week 28 because if you look at the teams who double, there's a lot of players here that you probably wouldn't realistically want long term if you're in your team. So you could hop onto players. For example, you could triple up on Wolves, that sort of thing. You might not want to do that long term. And then that prepares you for Game Week 29. The other thing you could do is wildcard in 28, get some of the players that double here, and then bench boost in 29. So there's a few ways to approach these game weeks, but massive upside. And the next few game weeks are huge for this season. Perhaps the most important run of game weeks of this season, because we've had the double in 26, we've got the blank now, and then we've got two doubles back to back, and then we've got the blank in 30. So it's a huge part of the season in terms of blanks and doubles and opportunities to move up the ranks if you make the right decisions. Rice says, is it too much of a risk to captain Cornet for this double game week? I think it's very risky, Rome. He does have that injury, so it's whether he comes straight into the starting 11 or not. I think it's too much of a risk. Aloe Black says, already on a -4, is it worth going -8 to get a Marty out for me? A Marty out for me? I don't think it's worth it, no. I think I would just keep a Marty, to be honest with you. I know Leicester are leaking goals, but you never know. Outside chance of a clean sheet or something from a Marty there. I don't think I'll take the -8. John says wildcard, injuries and blanks, Bowen or Coutinho. Coutinho would be my pick now. It's a tricky one because Bowen's been absolutely exceptional over the course of the season. I think he's on 8 goals, 13 assists. So Bowen's just been so good, but Coutinho has that double as we saw just then. I'll put it back up on the screen. This double here for Aston Villa, Southampton at home, Leeds away. Such a good double game week. And then Aston Villa don't blank in game week 30. If we just switch over to the blank game week 30 graphic. Aston Villa currently one of 6 teams guaranteed not to blank in game week 30. West Ham have an 84% chance of blanking, so in all likelihood you get an extra 2 fixtures out of Coutinho over Bowen over the next 4 or 5 game weeks, if that makes sense. So therefore I think Coutinho is the pick. I back him to do more over 5 games than Bowen over 3. Zayab says, thanks for the content, bro. Dalot versus Bednarek. Dalot versus Bednarek. That's a tricky one. I actually think Dalot starts, and for that reason I quite like him as a pick. I think I would I think I would go Bednarek, gun to my head, Bednarek. I think they're both excellent picks though. At the back of my head, Watford have to get a result. They're in such a poor position in 19th. They cannot afford not to get something out of the next few games. So therefore they have to score at whatever cost. So therefore I think Bednarek just about edges it. Chaotic says, any team news? Let's have a look. Let's check the old leaks list. I doubt there will be, because I mean tonight's game is just Southampton versus Norwich. It's not no. Doesn't look like it. KT says Saka is out for this game week. Do you mean blanking? He doesn't have a fixture, so he's certainly not out in the sense of injured and can't play. Liam says, best 1 week punts heading into a wildcard next game week. 1 week punts, I think Kane, low ownership, high upside. You could double up on Burnley. I think they're very, very reasonable 1 week punts. Son, but he's less of a punt because of his ownership. I don't think you need to punt for the sake of punting, but I think they're all very, very good picks. No news on Cornet, Kyle. Other than what Dyche said yesterday, which was that he's touch and go. So, we'll see. He said it's not a serious one, just a sore one. So, leads me to believe he stands a chance of featuring. Umar says, what Chrome extension do you use? I'm using a couple of extensions here. I'm using FPL Tools, which is what puts the fixtures under the players. And then I'm using a browser add-on called Stylus, which lets you modify the appearance of web pages. So some of the CSS I wrote, and some of it's from a guy called Simon, who wrote a rework called Modern FPL. So that's what that is. Ali says 4-point hit before wildcard in next week. I think you can only justify a 4-point hit if it's for someone with significant upside, like Veghorst, someone like Son, Kane. You know, I wouldn't be taking a -4 to get in someone like Jimenez. Chimp Flipper Jr., what a username. Says Sancho or Gallagher on a free hit. Sancho, if I was going to pick one of those on a free hit. I think Sancho is a good option. He's improved a lot lately. He started his Man United career pretty poorly, but he's doing very well recently. So I think Sancho's a great pick on a free hit. Jason says, blatant FPL, winning FPL this year. Yeah, it'd be amazing if someone from the FPL community won it. You know, I have to say it's so much luck's required that it's totally out of the hands of whoever wins it. You just need so much luck to get there. You know, I spent a couple of game weeks in first and then I dropped off. I don't think any of my decisions were particularly awful. The only one that was really poor really was holding Salah through AFCON. I thought he'd only miss 2 games and be back. He did only miss 2 games, but he came off the bench instead of starting the Leicester game. So that was the wrong call. But it just goes to show how hard it is. Mikhail says, he fat fingered the transfer and swapped out Salah instead of Bruno. Guess I need to spend a transfer to get a more expensive Salah back next week. Are you joking? How did you manage that? Have you wildcarded already, Mikhail? I can't remember if you've used yours or not. A lot of people are getting rid of Salah this week because you can hop on players like Son or Bruno, KDB, Sterling, etc. And then if you plan to wildcard in 28, then you just get them straight back in. So that kind of approach is actually quite effective. It's a good way of playing the game right before a wildcard because you can take these 1 week punts. And this week, because Salah blanks, it's a high upside 1 week punt because you're getting rid of someone who doesn't even play for a premium of your choosing. We've got 15 minutes till the deadline. Thank you everyone who has tuned in so far. If you have enjoyed it, do hit like on the stream. It's massively appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already. You haven't wildcarded yet. You also had the bench boost and 2 free hits. You're in a pretty strong position, Mikhail. See how you look in Gameweek 28, because you could wildcard 28, bench boost 29, something like that. There's a couple of ways you could play it rather than a transfer straight back to get Salah straight back, but it might be perfectly fine to do that. Afis says Kane or Ronaldo. I think Kane between the two personally. Ronaldo's on slightly higher predicted points, but I think Kane. Philip says no brainer. I've made it this far into the stream without saying no brainer, but there you go, no brainer. Weghorst is a no brainer. It's just whether you captain him or not. Who's everyone going for captain this game week? Anyone not going Weghorst? It's one thing I quite like about blanks and doubles is you often end up considering and even captaining players that you'd never have on your radar. You know, if Burnley didn't double, I don't think there's any chance I'd have Weghorst. Max says De Bruyne or Sterling. I think De Bruyne, but they're both good picks. It's really hard to say who starts. I'd say De Bruyne's the highest ceiling. But yeah, both excellent picks. Tiger 15 has J. Rodriguez -4 to replace him with Weghorst. Yeah, I would be very tempted. Rodriguez, yeah, not a great pick. You know, he's not much of a goal scorer. I know he doubles, but he's not a player you can really count on. So I think Weghorst is a sensible move there, even for a -4, and you could probably captain him. Chris is going captain Son. LYXD is going Kane. Daniel's also going Kane captain. Peter's going captain Rodriguez. Just after we were talking about him. I think that's a very bold one, that. Captain in Rodriguez. Tango says City need a striker. Don't. They're already dominant enough. Imagine if City go and sign Haaland or something like that. Jason says, cheers to you and all the other content creators. We look forward to your videos. Appreciate that, Jason. Thank you. I went to an FPL meetup. Was it last weekend? Yeah. And that was... it's so surreal going to these because I've only been to one before then. And obviously people know my name and they know I'm fplfocal. It's very, very unusual, surreal experience. But so cool to meet people from the FPL community. And have beers with like-minded managers, chat about FPL football and whatever else. I ended up getting an extremely expensive Uber home with FPL mate. It set me and him back 150 quid, which we had to split. In fact, he sent me 100 quid for that. It was 150 and he sent me 100 because it took him all the way to Cambridge from London. Mackerel says Kulusevski, Jacob Ramsey or Elanga. I think Elanga between all of those, but none of them leap out at me. But I think I quite like the Elanga pick. Deserves to start, right? Scored in the Champions League against Atletico. Nedra says, play 2 out of these 3. James Ward-Prowse, Carl Walker-Peters, Broja. I think I'd go Ward-Prowse and Broja. Andy in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Andy, you going to the next one? There's another FPL meetup in March. I forget the date. I should remember it. But I can't remember when it is. It's like, is it the 12th? I'm going to aim to go to the next one as well. I think it's the 12th of March. I guess it's the same venue by London Bridge. Yeah, they're great fun. Really looking forward to the next one. Hope you can make the next one, Andy. At the last one, Andy just wouldn't stop bringing me beers. I was like, I think I owe you a round or 2 at this point. Definitely do for the next one, Andy. Hey Oscar, appreciate your vids and what you do a lot. Cheers. Absolute pleasure. I appreciate everyone who watches my videos. It's been probably the craziest year of my life. I started the YouTube channel only about a year ago. And it was just like a lockdown hobby. And it took off unexpectedly to this point it's at now. And now it's my full-time job since last month. So it's completely thanks to everyone that watches these streams, watches my videos, the members. Wouldn't be possible without them. It is March the 12th. Okay. Are you going there, Andy, or not? Hope you can make the next one. Tango says, where's Mr. Cat? I don't know. Oh, he's under my desk. He was here for the start of the stream, but I chucked him off because I was sweltering hot. Rami says, 48 points on the bench, noob. It was actually 50 points, noob. if you count Broder's points as well. Yeah, I tripled Burnley on my bench last week. Obviously, I'm not free hitting this week, so it made sense to triple up on Burnley to just get through this game week. But never in a million years did I see Burnley having a masterclass in the double last game week, because I did have a starting 11 of double game weekers as well, so the Burnley guys were on the bench, except for Bowen. Zelda says, yes, Teddy. He might make an appearance later. Teddy, they're calling you, mate. Alexander says, easily the best FPL YouTube channel out there. There are some really good channels, I have to say, but that's very nice of you. Thank you. There's a lot of great channels, new and old. Daniel says, hey Oscar, does Foden or Bernardo start? I've got a graphic, I'll put it up on the screen one more time. This is predicted Man City starters from Jump the Wave, and she's got the answers from the predictions on the Man City forums, and they've got Foden on a 59% chance. They've got Silva on an 85% chance, so I think Silva's likely to start, but he's not a particularly good option. Sterling, Mahrez, KDB, they've all got very high in terms of likelihood of starting, so I think they're good options if you're on a free hit. Nickel says, how you doing, Nick? He says, Son or Mahrez? Captain, please. If I was going to pick one of those, it would be Son. Mahrez, if I knew he was going to start, but you're rolling the dice with Pep, aren't you? Alex says, wildcard 28, bench boost 29, free hit 30 to finish my chips. Wait and see next week how Gameweek 30 is looking after the FA Cup, because you might be able to engineer a wildcard team towards Gameweek 30 without needing to use the free hit, in which case I would do that and save the free hit, if that makes sense. That's what I did with this, because I had one free hit left, so I wildcarded, and I've just kind of built a team that will scrape through this game week. Probably be a red arrow, as you'd expect if you're not free hitting, but it scrapes me through this game week, and I imagine there's more upside in me free hitting in a later game week. Might end up 30, we just don't know how game week 30 looks yet. Prakern says, start one on a free hit, Livra or Bednarek or Walker Peters. Walker Peters. Will Cosby says, why is Veghorst captain? He's got the double and he's top on the predicted points, so it's for that reason. Firmino's out for the Carabao Cup final, is he? I wonder if Joss is back or not. If not, perhaps it'll be Diaz, Mane, Salah, front three again. See if there's any early news. I don't think we'll have anything. Nah, nothing. Lucas going for Kane captain. Klaus says Willock will score. Willock. I remember last season he went on that ridiculous run where he just wouldn't stop scoring for like 6 or 7 game weeks in a row. And I think he got a bit of a price hike this season for that reason, but he has dropped off since then. For anyone who doesn't know, I actually set up an Instagram, and I occasionally post like real life stories and whatnot, so I'll chuck it in the chat if anyone doesn't know it. But I was out earlier today and I took a good picture of Teddy there. Absolute poser. So I think it's just instagram.com/fplfocal. There you go. R7HD says, what's your transfer plans? I'm rolling the transfer and playing with 9. That's my plan. It's going to be a likely red arrow, but I'll try and scrape through this game week. I've got the triple Burnley. I've got some of the key players covered like Son. I'm worried about Man City. They could hurt me badly depending on how they do. Hopefully we'll get a Lampard masterclass, right? Or perhaps not if you're on a free hit. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Abdul Rizak says, love your voice, mate. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Sandeep says, hey, Oscar, should I go for Sterling or KDB? Sterling or KDB? There's nothing to separate them, to be honest. I think KDB just about edges it. Man City's fixture run is quite good at the moment in the sense that they got Peterborough in the FA Cup next, so you imagine they would be able to rotate heavily for that, so therefore Pep could play full strength for this game week if he wanted to, so wouldn't surprise me to see a very, very strong 11 for City with KDB, Sterling, Mahrez, etc. all starting. Yeah, Ashlin's gone, bro, your captain. Khaled says, King to Broja, ignoring Weghorst. I think if I was getting rid of King, I'd want to get Weghorst, to be honest with you. I imagine his effective ownership's going to be pretty high. A lot of people getting him in, a lot of people, everyone who's on a free hit's getting him. So I think I would focus on him over Broja personally. If you can't stretch to him, then I think Broja's a good pick as well. Damaz says, Captain Connor Roberts. Very bold one that. Don't know if I'd captain him, to be honest with you. A little bit bold. Yeah, Jason says, this stream's been a long one. Yeah, so today was the first ever 90-minute stream. I thought I'd give it a go, see if I've got the stamina to get through it or not. I don't know whether I'll keep doing 90-minute streams. I just wanted to try it. I might go back to doing the flat 1-hour streams. Don't know, let me know, guys. I think 1 hour's plenty of time to answer all questions, cover the talking points and whatnot. But I appreciate everyone that has tuned in so far. We've got 3 or 4 minutes till the deadline. If you have enjoyed the stream so far and the content prepared for it, do hit like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Really appreciate that. I'm glad this playlist is long enough. I didn't think to check if it had all the songs to last the entire duration, but there we go. One thing I might do on the last day of the season, I was thinking about doing like a watch-along stream. You know, I'll get like graphics of all the live scores on the screen and so on. I think that would be pretty exciting to have you know, all the games playing at the same time, chat going crazy as we try and follow all the scores, goal scorers and whatnot. Chris says, captain choice is making me feel sick. If anyone's still on the fence or doesn't know who's the captain, I'll just put the predicted points on the screen one more time. I think Weghorst, Pope, Kane and Son are all very good picks. Those would be the ones I consider. I'm going Weghorst personally. They're all great picks though. Josh says, great idea. Yeah, I think we'll do it. I think we'll do a watch-along stream. I think it'll be proper hype to finish the season with a watch-along stream and follow all the scores and whatnot. Charles says, do that, it'd be so good. Lazarus says, yeah, absolutely. We're always punting on Willock. I'll have 9 doubles next week without the Arsenal announcement. You're in a very good position then for 28, I have to say. That is a hell of a punt though, Willock. KN says, why are you playing with 9 players? So I've got 1 free hit left, and I wildcarded last week. My thinking was it lets me prepare for the double in 26, it lets me prepare for this blank, it lets me prepare for the doubles in 28, 29, and maybe even blank game week 30. So as a result, I'm saving the free hit. It's going to be a rough game week. I imagine it'll be a red arrow in all likelihood, but I will save the free hit, and I'll have the triple captain in my pocket as well, so I hope to make that ground back up in later game weeks. Perhaps I'll go triple captain Salah when Liverpool double in 29. We'll see. Fizz says Salah to Son for a week. I'd only do that if you're wildcard in 28, otherwise I wouldn't do it. Oh, I forgot to post my team on Twitter. No one reminded me. Let's do it now. I'm going to get so much stick for this. There we go. 1 minute before the deadline. Oh, people are not going to be happy about that. I get complaints for not sharing my team soon enough, but there we go, I've done it. Oh, the comments are going to be bad on that one. Kulusevski or Ward-Prowse? Ward-Prowse. Just checking the captain and someone's locked in. It is. Job done. Darshan says, worth a -4 for Son from Bruno. I think it's too late, Darshan. -4 for Son from Bruno. No, I wouldn't do it anyway. I wouldn't do it. Right, that's it. We've made it to the deadline. Thank you so much, everyone that has tuned in. Really, really appreciate it. We've had a great turnout. I'll be on the Discord throughout this game week, so I'll chuck the link in the chat one more time. If you have enjoyed the stream, do hit like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Let's have a look if there's any streams that we can raid. Let's have a quick look. FPL. Or anyone live who we could go and raid. Let's see who's live. FPL Wizard, how about that? We'll head over to this stream. Let me mute it. He's in subscriber only mode. Do we do it anyway? Head over to this stream. We'll go raid there. Tell him fplfocal sent you. Thank you so much everyone that has tuned in. Appreciate that. That's me done. Focal out. See you soon for the next one.